Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope that you're having a great day. And today we are going to build a budget CPU for late 2020. So this budget is under $1,000 and it's going to be a pretty decent build. It'll definitely surpass a console by a lot. So let's start with the CPU. So I was kind of thinking of a Ryzen 5 2600 because it has 6 cores, 12 threads, so you could do streaming on it if you wanted to, and you can do video editing and rendering if you really want to. It's not a great chip for that, but it is a fantastic budget chip. So the 2600 comes with a stock AMD cooler, which is more than enough for light overclocking. So unless you're going to be doing heavy overclocking, you don't need anything more. And since this is a budget build, we're not going to get an extra CPU cooler. So let's pick a motherboard. I'm going to go for the B450 chipset because you can overclock on it and it's kind of like the budget version of X470. And since we're going for a micro ATX build, I think that I'm going to go for onboard Wi-Fi in the motherboard, because then you don't have to get another expansion card and fill up your expansion slots and so on and so forth. So it looks like we're going to go with the MSI Bazooka Max Wi-Fi. Now I really like MSI's boards and I'm actually going to do it in an upcoming build. I'm going to build a mini ITX PC, so stay tuned for that, I guess. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to want is memory. So Ryzen CPUs really benefit off of faster memory. Oh, perfect. This is the exact kit that I was thinking of, actually. So 3200 megahertz is a great speed for Ryzen, and 16 gigabytes, which is the sweet spot for gaming right now. First word latency, 10 nanoseconds. That's perfect. That's really good. And it's pretty cheap too. So now we're going to go for our storage. So even though this is a budget build, I think I'm still going to stick with an SSD, because hard drives are the main thing that's limiting modern computers. So we're just going to find a cheap boot drive and then go for a little... Perfect. So this is Radiator Burst. I haven't heard of them before, but an SSD is an SSD. Say that's 6 gigabytes a second. Great, okay, so that'll be our boot drive. So you'll store your operating system on here and anything that you want to be like super snappy. Okay, so now SSD. So now this is going to be like your more general storage, so you'll store the rest of your stuff on here. So we're probably going to want at least 512 gigabytes. And you can always add more storage in down the line, because this motherboard has lots of options and lots of different drive storage options. So I think I saw 480 up here. Okay, I'm just gonna up the capacity and see what we get. So we want to go at least 500. So let's see what we got here. So the cheapest one is the TMGX2. Okay, some of my friends have used this in their builds before and they say it's great. So we'll go with this one. So there, you have 0.6 terabytes of storage. That's pretty good for a budget PC, especially that it's all SSD. So the video card is really important because in a budget build, you want to spend about half your money on a video card. So you can kind of go either way here. I'm probably going to go for an RX 580 or 90. But you could, if you wanted to, upgrade this to an RTX 2060 or probably up to like a 2070 Super. After that, I would recommend upgrading your CPU and everything else in the build because that's a pretty high-end card. So the 580, this one from MSI, pretty good clock speeds. They're not great, but they're really good for a budget card. So I think, yeah, we'll go with this one. So an RX 580. So this card will render AAA titles probably at like 144 Hz at 1080p easily, and then 1440p at like 100 Hz. So it's a really good budget card. AMD makes the best budget cards out there. So now we're going to choose a case. So the case that I'm thinking of is the TD500. So it's not exactly a cheap case, but it is one of the best cases on the market right now. It has the best flow-through design for air, so you get lots of cooling on your parts. So the more cooling you have on your parts, the longer they'll last, the better they'll perform, etc, etc. So we're going to go for a little more expensive case. So I'm thinking a 450 power supply unit because that's definitely the max end that you're going to need. So we'll just filter from the cheapest because I'm pretty sure that's like the lowest you can go. Okay, we'll get a 500 watt then, because then you have room to upgrade your graphics card or your CPU down the line. Alright, how are we doing? Not great, honestly. I was hoping to have a little more room for a monitor, so it looks like we're going to go a little bit above. Ooh, that's pretty good. Okay, so we probably want a 1080p 144 hertz because this is kind of like what you'll want. Well, that's the cheapest one. Well, okay. Here we go. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, I hope that everybody enjoys this. I will not be doing a PC build on this because I am 14 and I don't have enough money to buy a bunch of pretty high-end computer parts, but I'm sure that you could find somebody build something similar to this and you could go off that video for reference. But overall, this is a fantastic computer. Like, this will get you AAA titles really fast, high refresh rates on like pretty decent resolutions. You could honestly probably go 1440p on this, but it's a little bit more expensive, right? Because the monitor, you know, like there's always something with the monitor. Monitors are pretty expensive. You wouldn't really think of it, but they are. Yeah, so if you want to take a screenshot of this, so I said at the beginning that we're shooting for under 1,000 for this build, and that is before the monitor. So usually when you see people doing like below 1,000 gaming PC builds, they will do it without the monitor, but I included the monitor, so it's going to be around 1,270 Canadian. So in America, this computer would probably be around $800, so about 800 USD and about 1,300 Canadian dollars. Now, this is all subject to change, obviously, right? Like, the Ryzen chip will probably go down in price once the 4000 series is launched. Same with the motherboard. And SSDs will probably get cheaper too, and this will go down in price once AMD releases their new RX 6000s, and so on and so forth. And power supplies are really pricey right now, so they'll probably eventually go down too. Anyway, everybody, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and have a great day.